Remember, the previous possession on fourth down, they went for it right by the goal line, and he threw an incomplete pass. So the Bears were having trouble. When you get down there, you're packed in tight with the defense playing a lot of zone, and they weren't able to cash in on that. They had the momentum in overtime. They stopped the Rams on the first possession. And then Chicago has the ball. They get to the Rams 48, and then Caleb throws his third interception of the day where he and DJ Moore were not on the same page. Rams went down the field. They kicked the field goal. They won. So congrats to the Rams. They're in the NFC Championship game. Rams at Seattle. Seattle murdered the 49ers, but they lost Zach Charbonnet to a torn ACL. In the AFC Championship game, it'll be Denver at New England. No Bo Nix. He fractured his ankle in the waning moments of the overtime win against the Bills, so it's going to be Jarrett Stidham against his former team, the New England Patriots, on Sunday. So that's your championship Sunday. That's what it looks like. The breaking news on the coaching front, you saw it over the weekend. John Harbaugh to the Giants. Kevin Stefanski lands in the NFC South with the Falcons. He retains Jeff Ulbrich. I think the Falcons got better. Today, Jeff Hafley was named the head coach down in Miami. Connection there, obviously. Their new GM was in the Packers front office, so he and Jeff Hafley know each other really, really well. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. And for the Buccaneers, reports are they will talk to Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher for their OC job opening. Now, he interviewed a couple of years ago. The Bucs job wasn't as attractive as it was now. So they're talking to Dan Pitcher. They've talked to a lot of candidates, but the number one candidate on the Bucs list is Mike McDaniel, who was in their building last week. From all accounts, it went really well. McDaniel was impressed with the Buccaneers and vice versa. It was a good meeting, but he has interviewed now at a couple of different places. This morning, Mike McDaniel interviewed down in Miami with Tom Brady and the Raiders for the Raiders head coaching vacancy. He's interviewed for the Ravens head coaching vacancy. He's going to interview again with the Browns later on this week. But the Lions picked their OC today, and it wasn't Mike McDaniel. Drew Petzing from the Arizona Cardinals, their former offensive coordinator, goes to Detroit. So, what looked like a long shot last week, I'm telling you guys, this is more realistic this week and today as we sit here right now that Mike McDaniel could become the next offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers. Because think about it. Are the Raiders going to offer him the head coaching job? What about the Browns? Now, he was the wide receivers coach with the Browns 10 years ago, 12 years ago now. I keep forgetting we're in 2026. Back in 2014, he was the wide receivers coach with the Browns. So he does have some history there. But the Browns, meddlesome owner, we don't know who their quarterback is. Cleveland, Cleveland. Would you rather live in Cleveland or would you rather live in Tampa Bay? No state income tax, terrific offense. Two of the last three coordinators became head coaches. I think, listen, I know head coach gets paid more, but the Dolphins are still going to pay Mike McDaniel. If he takes the OC job, there might be some offsetting going on there. He can still double dip. It's a beautiful thing this country is. So if you're Mike McDaniel, would I rather be OC of the Bucs or head coach of the Browns? I would pick the Bucs job. Would I rather be head coach of the Raiders, who have been changing their coaches like every year, it seems like, for the last 5 or 6 years? I get it. You have the opportunity to coach Fernando Mendoza, who's playing tonight, national championship game, by the way, at 6:30. We'll have live coverage of that game. I'll have my prediction coming up in the final drive in just a few moments. I think I would rather be the Bucs OC, honestly. I know working for Tom Brady, that might be all fine and good, but the Raiders have been a mess for many years. Max Crosby might figure out a way to force his way out of Vegas. The Buccaneers should be all over that. We've been talking about that the last few weeks. So this appears to be more realistic now than it was last week, a week ago. Mike McDaniel to the Bucs is a real possibility. And I think he knows it too. He does. You take the Bucs job, no interference, by the way. Bowles, try to figure things out on the defensive side. And if he can't figure it out, if you come in, hit a home run, you're going to be a head coach in 2027, either here with the Buccaneers or somewhere else. So that's what it looks like. 888-546-4620. So, I want to have the conversation that not many people are going to have, and it might be an uncomfortable one. And it involves Mike Evans. Maybe Mike is sitting back and thinking, I want to see who the next OC is, some other changes before I decide whether or not to come back for a 13th season of Buccaneer football to match his jersey number. But here's the other thing you need to think about, too. While it's not about money, Mike is not going to re-sign for free. He's not taking the veterans minimum. It's probably in the $15 to $20 million range. But you also have to look at it this way. The Bucs have a lot invested at that wide receiver position. Emeka Buka, first-round pick. Jalen McMillan, third-round pick. Chris Godwin is getting more guaranteed money next year, $22 million worth, of a 3-year, $66 million deal. So can the Buccaneers offer Mike something that he would be satisfied with? That's a conversation to have. I think Mike loves it here, obviously. He's built his roots here. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a Buccaneer for life. But what can the Bucs do for him? Are they going to bring him back knowing that you have Godwin, J-Mac, and Ibuka? Are there enough footballs to go around? You also have Bucky Irving in the backfield. There's only one football, a lot of mouths to feed. The other thing you have to take into consideration is this. You don't let Mike to get to free agency. They need to make up this decision and make up their mind before then. Because if you let Mike get the free agency, I think there will be a couple of teams, Super Bowl contending teams, right at the top. A couple of years ago, the Chiefs wanted Mike badly, and Jason Light knew it. And he beat them to the punch. He re-signed Mike before he got the free agency. The Chiefs need another wide receiver. Again, that hasn't changed in the last couple of years. The Buffalo Bills, their number one need outside of a head coach, is a wide receiver for Josh Allen, moving into a new stadium next year. Mark my words. You get the free agency, the Bills and the Chiefs will be all over Mike Evans. I guarantee it. All right, let's take a couple of phone calls. You got the final drive coming up. Our coverage of Indiana and Miami. The national championship game is on tonight, right here on WDAE. Our coverage beginning at 6:30. Oh, I know this guy's ready for the Natty tonight. Reggie is in Riverview. I was wondering and hoping when I was going to hear from you, my friend.
What's up with you, big old pimp? Listen, bro.
I'm good, man.
Bro. All right,
what's up?
Let's go NFL first. First of all, Happy New Year, man. Good to hear your voice. I always listen. I just don't call. Life's been crazy, and I'll end my conversation with something personal in just a second. But this weekend was about turnovers in the NFL. If you took care of the ball somewhat, you won the game.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all games that occurred. It was about turnovers. Now, let's get to the Indiana Hurricane game tonight. You know, I'm already prepared. Wings, beer, brandy, what have you. Listen, people need to respect Indiana. Indiana is the best team in the country. Now, you know I played basketball with you in the late 80s, and we were the best team in the country. And Michael Irvin lied to me, said he's going to give me his 300Z when he got drafted.
You're still sore over that, aren't you?
Listen, think about it. I graduated in 89. I still remember that. But it was just such a great time during that time. See, I'm telling you, if social media was back then what it's today, most of us be in jail. It was insane. We need to have like a radio art show where I can come on TV and just like tell you all the stuff that went on during that time. It was insane. The Orange Bowl and what have you, catching the Metro Well. It was just insane. And so tonight's game is all about the defense of Miami. If Miami can control Indiana, they have a chance of winning. But we got to run the ball and stick with the run
Yes.
in order to make a difference. Because Indiana they have no weaknesses. They don't. They're not. I don't think they're like great in any area, but they're so efficient and they're so surgical that they will tear you apart if you're not on point. And then here's the last thing I'll say before I let you go. Now listen, life comes at you fast, man. And I've been blessed with such a good life from the Air Force, from the financial world. Now I work for the VA, and my wife has pancreatic cancer. My wife is my earth. She's a minister. She worked for the federal government for 30-some years, and like she goes to the gym. I got bad habits. I smoke my cigar, I break my brain, drink my Bud Light. She don't drink. Listen, here's my PSA to everybody out here listening. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take life for granted. Love the people you love, and just enjoy the time that we have. TKras, I love you guys, man. You my guys. I always listen, man. I always call, but I appreciate you, bro. I really mean that.
Reggie, I appreciate you. My heart, my prayers go out to you and your wife. Thanks for calling. Don't be a stranger, my man. Have fun tonight watching the game.
All right. Okay.
You got it. Thank you, buddy. That's Reggie in Riverview. Played at Miami. The U, big U guy. It's awful news about his wife. My gosh. Get yourself checked is right. Guys, colonoscopies, do that. Talked to a guy a few days ago that was getting ready to have a colonoscopy. I'm like, look, do it. Absolutely. Get yourself checked. Oh, my gosh. Check your prostate. Check your colon. Check your pancreas. I mean, once you get into your 40s now, it's usually in your 50s. This sort of thing is starting up in your 40s now. Just stay on top of it, guys. Get the routine checks. Get there. Get to your doctor. Get ahead of it. So my prayers are out to you, Reg. I really appreciate you, and my prayers out to you and your wife. And have fun watching the game tonight. I think it's going to be an exceptional game. Miami with that big old offensive line, they got to get nasty in the trenches. I think that's where Miami's got the edge. Their trenches. And Malachi Toney is an electrifying playmaker. They got to get him involved. Carson Beck's got to make some big plays, take care of the ball. One thing I know about Indiana, man, they will not beat themselves. You're going to have to go out there, and Miami's going to have to play an A game in order to beat them because the Hoosiers are not going to beat themselves. Back to the phones. Final drive coming up. Terrence is calling from up in Philly. Listening to the iHeart app. Terrence, what's going on up there?
Hey, man, first time, long time.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. What's going on up at Philly?
Not too much. Hypothetical. So if we do get McDaniel and the Bucs go on a deep playoff run, let's say even say they go to the Super Bowl or they win, are they still getting rid of Todd Bowles and keeping McDaniels, or are they letting McDaniels go because McDaniels is still going to go one way or the other?
So you're saying if the Bucs go to the Super Bowl and win, is that the scenario you're laying out there?
Either or. Even if they just go, they don't even have to win. Even if they go on a deep playoff run and they just make it to the NFC Championship, are they still letting go Todd Bowles and keeping McDaniels, or are they sticking with Todd Bowles and let McDaniels walk?
Man, Terrence, that's a really good question. I appreciate you. Don't be a stranger. Terrence up in Philly. Wow. It just kind of depends. Like, if they get to the NFC Championship, if their defense fails them, how's that? Like, if your defense fails you, and I'll just pick a random guy, like it's Bucs and Giants in the NFC Championship game. Not that I think that is going to happen next year. Just a core, like Jared Goff. Let's say it's Bucs Lions or something. And the defense not pulling up their weight or their fair share. And the defense is the reason why they lose in a big-time spot. I think there will be a conversation at the end of the year. I do. Like if the defense fails them, even if it's in a playoff type of setting, and Mike McDaniel shows enough wares offensively, yeah, I don't think the Buccaneers are going to let that happen twice. With Liam Cohen, it was a 10-win season, and Bowles wasn't getting fired at that point after 3 straight division titles. That is a very interesting scenario, Terrence, and I think one that a lot of Buccaneer fans would sign up for. You're telling me that we can be in the NFC Championship game? Great job, Baker! Baker Mayfield's making plays with his arm, with his legs.
Yes.
Hopefully Mike Evans is here catching touchdowns. Touchdown, Mike Evans with a whole heap of want-to. Although Gene Deckeroff will not be calling games next year, we'll find out who the new radio play-by-play man is going to be.
That's going to be so weird. No Gene calling the next Buccaneer touchdown. I think this, Tom, I don't think we really talked about this in the moment. Gene's final call was right here on this very show. Krasinski misses a tackle.
That was.
This takes into that. Like, that's crazy. The final call on the radio was right here from Gene Deckeroff.
Yes, it was.
On DAE.
It was. It was fantastic.
DAE.
Let's see. Oh, look at that text. That is a 727. Turning down a head coach job, one of 32 positions for an OC job, you're on crack. How did that work out for Leftwich? It depends which head coaching job, sir. Maybe I should have been more specific. I think I was, but I'll explain it to you more thoroughly. If, for example, Mike McDaniel gets offered the Ravens head coaching job, then that's absolutely a better job. Without question, he's taking that job. Ravens job, you're taking that job. Steelers job, he hasn't been connected to that job. He's probably taking that job over the Buccaneers job because that's job security right then and there. However, I think the Bucs OC job is better than the Browns job, without question. It's better than that job. It's better than the Arizona head coaching job. Have you seen Arizona? Have you seen what they're like? Do they have a quarterback? But like Buffalo, Baltimore, yes, those jobs are better. Absolutely. But some of these other jobs, yeah, I don't think so. I'd rather be the Bucs OC and stay here in a no-state income tax state with great talent on this team offensively. 2 of the last 3 went on to be a head coach. You can still take some money from the Dolphins in the process on top of being the OC and collecting a paycheck here. Best of both worlds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
The final drive.
Big one tonight, Indiana and Miami. Kirk Cignetti is going to complete one of the greatest turnarounds we've seen in sports history. Indiana will get to 16-0. Fernando Mendoza, 8 touchdowns, 5 incompletions. I don't think he'll be that prolific tonight. I think there'll be some scoring tonight. The only way Miami can win this game is if they force some turnovers and their big old offensive line, opens up some holes in the running game to keep Mendoza and company off the field. But Indiana does not beat themselves. They're well coached. Kirk Cignetti's 8-0 when he's a heavy favorite. He's going to make it 9-0. I like Indiana tonight, 31-20.
The final drive.
Hoosiers.
Ronnie Lynn. All right, great stuff happening today here on the program. I want to thank our guy, Scott Reynolds, PewterReport.com. Great information there, great conversation. We agreed to disagree about the Falcons head coach. He's not a big Stefanski guy. Look, I think Kevin Stefanski, in that toxic environment, to win Coach of the Year twice with everything that he had to deal with. He had Baker, and then he didn't have Baker. He's got a meddlesome owner and everything else. You have to look at a lot of different factors when you decide, should I be head coach of the Browns or offensive coordinator with the Bucs? And that may very well be the thing for Mike McDaniel. And that's the other thing that texter needs to understand. Does Mike McDaniel get offered a head coaching job at one of these places? We'll find out. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I want to thank Scott Reynolds for joining us here on the program. Tomorrow, Brett McMurphy, our guy, college football insider, will join us, and it's our 2 for Tuesday. Fill in the blank.